So how do you make your NFT project stand out from the competition? I'm going to be showing you exactly how one of the projects that I'm working with has managed to do that. Now, if this is the first time we meet, my name is Leon Aboud and my mission is to democratize Web3 marketing knowledge. For most of Web3's history, the secrets of how to sell out projects has been kept between a small group of people. And these people often ended up launching projects that benefited their pockets and not the industry. Which is why my goal is to open the curtain, level the playing field so you have all the information you need to go out there, build the project of your dream, and help shape the future of this beautiful industry that we're all part of. And anytime I share a client case study with you, I was never paid a single dollar to do that. And the reason I do that is having worked with over 100 teams so far from the whole spectrum, there's oftentimes things I see from the inside that I can then use to show you so you can learn faster and apply that within your projects. And the project that I want to show you and talk to you about today is a project called KPRVerse, also known as KPRVerse. It was a very well-known project that launched in 2022, raised millions of dollars on their mint. And one thing KPRVerse was able to do very well is that they were able to create a brand that is very unique, very different from all the other brands that I've seen in the NFT space. And that was the thing they've become known for. So what I'm going to be showing you is the framework that I've developed that you can replicate into your project. And this framework is called the VET framework. And this is something I often speak about, but every single thing you do in your project, whether it's the marketing, whether it's the branding, whether it's the art, whether it's the storytelling, needs to fit within the VET framework. V stands for vision. When building your project, the first thing you want to think about is, what is your vision? What are we trying to build? Where are we trying to go? The E stands for execution. How do we intend on getting there? And finally, the T stands for team. Why should you bet on this team to help you get to where we aim to go? So where are we going? How do we intend on getting there? And why should you believe that this team has the capacity to execute on these two things? And KPRVerse, one thing they did very well is they have their VET very well clearly defined. And this has allowed them to build a very strong, loyal community around the project. And from the very beginning days, the way KPR did it is their vision is that they want to set a new standard for what brands, for what experiential brands look like. They want to create a new type of experiential brand. The execution in the early days is they launched one of the most beautiful websites that I've ever seen ever. They actually ended up winning in 2022 award for the best website in the world, not in Web3, best website in the world. They were able to do that. They showed Web3 how they intended on bringing that vision to life. They did it through their website. And the team behind the project, this was not a random team that came out of nowhere and all of a sudden they have a project. No, again, something we often talk about. They were a team that were very well respected in the ecosystem. They come from the treasure ecosystem, well-respected builders, they end up launching a project. So this was not the first time people see them or hear about them. They had the existing trust of the NFT community. So they want to create a new experiential brand. They did it by creating a website experience that was unseen before. And the team had all the credibility and trust. And this ended up, the day of the mint, ended up raising millions of dollars just because of that. And everything they've done since fits within the VET framework. KPRVerse never came out with a merch collection. They never tried to do random activations. I was one day sent a Twitter space from someone, and in the Twitter space they were talking about KPR, and the reason it was sent to me was because myself and my team at Unfungible were brought up during that conversation. But one thing that stood out from that conversation that reaffirms what I'm talking about behind me, someone was saying how 2023 at NFT NYC, when every other project were creating parties and events and drinking challenges, what KPR did is that they booked out a venue for a sushi experience. And it was actually a very luxurious sushi experience that they had. And they had a very different experience from all the other events that were happening. And that holder was actually, that person that was talking was actually at the sushi event. And he said how different that was of an experience. Recently, KPR are rolling out a new brand initiative called Ramen Wars, and they are partnering with a very famous chef called Esther Choi, who's very well known on social media. And what they're doing is they are building out an experience, a culinary experience with that chef for the KPR holders. So everything they do, every messaging, every experience fits within that. And this is what allowed them to position themselves differently and position themselves uniquely from the rest of the marketplace. So for you watching this, if you're still trying to develop your brand, if your brand is out there but your messaging is unclear, or you're not too sure what your brand positioning is, think about it through the VET framework. Where are we going? How do we intend on getting there? And why do we have a team capable of executing on that? And if you want to dive one layer deep so we can bring the point home, oftentimes when you see a lot of big Web2 companies come into the space and they oftentimes end up failing, is because they might have the team. The car company Fiat is launching in the NFT space. That's a great example. Fiat recently launched an NFT pass. No one talked about it. It was a flop. They had the team, but they came in without a vision. What were you guys doing here? Like, stay in Web 2. What are you guys doing in Web 3? You're not bringing anything new. It felt like an outsider trying to come into the space just to cash in on the attention. What is your vision launching in Web 3? Why are you even here? Why should we pay attention to you? So this is one great example of a team coming in, but they don't have the vision and the proper execution. Another example on the other side is people coming in. You have a 17-year-old teenager that says, I want to build the future of the metaverse. Amazing, but who are you? Why should we pay attention to you? You're nobody. So when you have these three beautifully blended together, and you can sew each one of the VET framework together, that's when you get a project that stands out from the rest, and you are able to build a blue ocean in the Web3 space. My name is Leon Aboud. It was an absolute pleasure sharing this moment with you, and I will see you very, very soon. Cheers.